Today we will study the construction and working of the reciprocating compressor. So this is a reciprocating compressor, single acting, single cylinder, single stage reciprocating compressor. As you can see, this is the cylinder of the compressor. This compressor consists of a cylinder. Now there is a piston which reciprocates inside this cylinder, right? Now we are having a connecting rod and the crank. So this connecting rod connects the crank with the piston, and the connection is the pin joint. So these are the pin joints. Here also we are having a pin joint or a hinge joint. Here also the pin or the hinge joint. So the motion is turning pair. The pair is nothing but a turning pair, right? This is the crank and this is the crankshaft. So this crank along with the crankshaft rotates, right? This piston reciprocates inside this cylinder. So of course here we are having the crankcase that is not shown here, but the crankcase is also present here. Now if you look at this cylinder, you can see some pockets, right? So that is nothing but the cooling jacket. So this cooling water is flowing through this jacket so that the cooling can take place. The air which gets heated due to compression, when the pressure increases, the temperature also increases. So in order to increase the life of the compressor, it is necessary to reduce the temperature to cool the compressor. So for that we are having the cooling jacket, water cooling jacket. So this is also the portion of the water cooling jacket. So this was about the construction of the single stage reciprocating air compressor. Now let us try to study the working of the reciprocating compressor. So we are studying the working of the single stage, single acting reciprocating compressor. So this we are going to study with the help of the PV diagram. Now this reciprocating compressor may be vertical or it may be horizontal. So though it may be vertical, but here it is shown horizontal. The cylinder is shown horizontal. So this can be considered as the cylinder and this can be considered as the piston, right? And here the PV diagram will also be drawn. And here you can see that there is a coordination between this diagram, this piston cylinder and the PV diagram. The various positions 1, 2, 3, 4 and these various processes 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 1. These processes can be shown here. Actually these points which represent the end and the starting of these processes, they are shown in the PV diagram as well as they are shown on this particular cylinder as the positions of the piston. So this point 1 is shown here on the PV diagram and that is nothing but a position of the piston. Point 2, 3, 4, all these are the positions of the piston as well. They are the points on the PV diagram. That means the point on the PV diagram represent the condition of the working substance, condition of the air which is being compressed inside this compressor, right? So we are going to coordinate this particular diagrams, two diagrams, that is the PV diagram as well as the diagram of the piston and the cylinder of the reciprocating compressor. So let us start with studying the working of this reciprocating compressor, which is a single stage, single acting reciprocating compressor. So first of all, this process 1, 2 is nothing but the process of compression. So you can see this is the point 1 shown here also. So this is the position of the piston, that is the extreme position of the piston, that means outer dead center. In case of horizontal compressor, we can say it is the outer dead center ODC position of the piston. If it is a vertical compressor, then that position coincides the outer dead center, the bottom dead center, BDC position. In case of horizontal compressor, that is the BDC position. In case of horizontal compressor, that is the outer dead or ODC position. In case of vertical compressor, that is the bottom dead or BDC position, right? So this piston is moving from point 1 to point 2. It is traveling from the outer dead center towards the inner dead center, right? So at point 2, it is not at the extreme left position, it is not at the inner dead center, it is somewhere in between. So from 1 to point 2, from point 1 to point 2, all the valves, both the valves, inlet valve and the exhaust valve, are closed, and therefore whatever air is present inside this cylinder will get compressed, right? Because the volume decreases from V1 to V2. Volume decreases from V1 to V2. Or you can say this volume is decreasing here like this. First of all, this volume is Vc plus Vs, and afterwards it has been now decreased to V2, right? So the process 1-2 is nothing but the process of compression. Just compression is taking place inside the engine cylinder, and the compressed air is present in the cylinder itself till the point 2, till we reach the point 2. But at point 2, what is happening is that, so this piston is moving from the point 1 to the point 2, and this process 1-2 is nothing but the process of compression. Now when the piston reaches the point 2, what happens is that the pressure increases inside the cylinder up to a certain point, up to a certain level, such that the exhaust valve will open. The exhaust valve is actually normally closed with the help of the spring pressure, spring force. But when this pressure increases to V2, this spring force is overcome by this particular exhaust valve, and the exhaust valve gets open. And since the exhaust valve gets open due to the pressure, increased pressure P2, the delivery of the compressed air will start from point 2. Compressed air will leave the engine cylinder and it will go to the reservoir where it is stored, right? So at point 2, the delivery valve is open, right? DVO means nothing but the delivery valve. So the delivery valve gets opened at point 2, and the delivery of the air starts from point 2 to point 3. So the process 2-3 is nothing but the delivery of the compressed air from the cylinder of the compressor to the storage tank, right? So this process 2-3 is nothing but the delivery of the compressed air from the cylinder, compressor cylinder, to the storage tank. Now when the piston reaches this inner dead center or top dead center in case of vertical compressor, so there you will find that there is some space between the cylinder head, this is the cylinder head, and this is the extreme position of the piston, that is the inner dead center or the top dead center. So there is some space, there is some gap. Some space or some gap has to be kept there, because otherwise the piston will dash against the cylinder head or it will collide with the walls, right? So some clearance space has to be kept here between the inner dead center position of the piston, the extreme position of the piston, and the cylinder head. So that clearance space or that clearance volume is called as, is denoted by Vc. So Vc is nothing but the clearance volume of the cylinder, right? Now the piston will start its return journey from point 3 to point 4, right? After reaching point 3, it will not stop there, it will just stop for some fraction of second. The speed will be minimum at point 3, but again it will start its return journey from the inner dead center to the outer dead center. So it will go on moving from point 3 to point 4, and during this motion of the piston from point 3 to point 4, all the valves are closed. All the valves are closed. the inlet valve doesn't open at point 3. So what is happening during the motion of the piston from point 3 to point 4 is that expansion of the trapped air in the clearance space. Whatever air is trapped inside the clearance space of the piston, that air expands as the piston moves from point 3 to point 4. Now when the piston reaches point 4, at that point, at that time, at that instant, what happens is that the pressure inside the engine cylinder becomes very low, becomes low, so that this difference in pressure will open the inlet valve. So the air flows because there is a difference in pressure, right? So atmospheric pressure is now higher, and this pressure at point 4 is slightly lower than the atmospheric pressure. So when this pressure difference between the atmospheric pressure and the pressure P4, when this pressure difference is sufficient to open the inlet valve, because the inlet valve is normally closed by the spring, and when this pressure difference creates a force, this force, when it becomes sufficient to overcome the spring force of the inlet valve, at that time the inlet valve will open. So at point 4 the inlet valve will open and the suction will start at point 4. Suction doesn't start at point 3, right? Because at point 3 already the trapped air is present and the pressure is higher. Pressure is higher, even this pressure is higher than atmospheric pressure, right? So the air from the atmosphere cannot enter inside the engine cylinder, even if this inlet valve is opened somehow, right? So what is done is that the piston is moving from point 3 to point 4. Piston is moving in the backward direction from inner dead center to the outer dead center, say from point 3 to point 4, and due to that the volume inside the engine cylinder increases. Due to increase in the volume, the pressure decreases, and now the pressure is slightly lower than the atmospheric pressure. So this difference in pressure will cause the inlet valve to open, because I have told you that the inlet valve is normally closed with the help of the spring, and when this force due to the pressure difference is sufficient to overcome the spring force of the inlet valve will be opened at point 4, and at point 4 the air from the atmosphere will start entering inside the engine cylinder. So that is, piston is moving from point 3 to point 4, and from 3 to 4 it was expansion, 3 to 4 it was expansion, and from 4 to 1 it is suction. 4 to 1 is nothing, it is nothing but suction. 3 to 4 is expansion, and 4 to 1, the process 4-1 is nothing but suction, because at point 4 the inlet valve opens. I have told you that the inlet valve opens at point 4 and the suction takes place at point 4. During the process 4-1, suction of the air from the atmosphere takes place. The air is entering inside the engine cylinder through the inlet valve. That means air is sucked inside the engine cylinder as the piston moves from point 4 to point 1. So process 4-1 we say that is the suction process. So 4-1 is suction, right? So these are the 4 important processes which take place inside the reciprocating compressor, which is a single stage, single acting reciprocating compressor. So this we have studied with the help of the PV diagram, and we have correlated this PV diagram with the actual piston and cylinder, with the actual motion of the piston inside the engine cylinder, right? So now let us go ahead to study this. Before that, this volume, this VA is the actual volume, because at point 4 the suction starts, and whatever volume of air has been sucked inside the engine cylinder is VA, because the suction starts at point 4 and it ends at point 1. So process 4A is nothing but the suction process. So the volume actual volume of air which is sucked inside the engine cylinder is nothing but VA, considering the STP condition, standard temperature pressure condition, that actual volume is VA, and this VA is divided by VS. VS is nothing but the stroke volume. So geometrically VS is the stroke volume. Stroke volume means the area of the piston multiplied by the stroke length, that is the VS, that is the volume, stroke volume of the piston, right, or the swept volume, the volume swept by the piston inside the engine cylinder as the piston moves from one extreme position to the other extreme position, say from the inner dead center to the outer dead center, or the top dead center to the bottom dead center. So the volumetric efficiency is defined as VA upon VS. So VA is the actual volume of air sucked considering the STP conditions, and VS is nothing but the stroke volume, right? So actually, while finding this VA volume, we have to consider the inlet conditions of temperature and pressure. Inlet conditions of temperature and pressure. But these inlet conditions may vary from location to location. At sea level, the pressure is supposed to be 760 millimeter of mercury, that is 1.01325 bar. But as we move higher and higher, this pressure goes on decreasing. Pressure goes on decreasing. So when we find the volumetric efficiency of two compressors, we have to compare them. We compare the volumetric efficiencies. So that is a relative term. And so that the comparison should be fair, we consider standard conditions of temperature and pressure, and the standard pressure which is considered is 760 millimeter of mercury, and the standard temperature which is considered is 15 degrees centigrade, or more precisely 15.6 degrees centigrade is the temperature of the air which is considered. So that considering that pressure and temperature, we find the volume of air, actual volume of air VA, and the stroke volume is nothing but the product of the area of piston and the stroke length. So that is the definition of the volumetric efficiency. Once again we have defined the volumetric efficiency, and we have studied the construction and the working of the reciprocating compressor, single stage, single acting reciprocating compressor. Now we can also study the construction and working of this double acting compressor. So we should try to understand the difference between the single acting compressor and the double acting compressor, and at the same time we should try to understand the construction and working of this double acting compressor. So in case of this double acting compressor, we are having two sets of suction and delivery valves. So you can see this is the one suction valve, another suction valve, two suction valves or two inlet valves are present, or two intake valves are present. Similarly, we are having two delivery valves. This is one delivery valve, this is another delivery valve. Two delivery valves on two sides of the piston, or two ends of the cylinder we are having here in this case. Then both the sides of the piston are utilized in compressing the air. So you can say that this is one side of the piston, this is another side of the piston. This side may be called as the piston rod side of the piston, and this side of the piston may be called as the cylinder head side of the piston, or the side opposite to the piston rod side, right? So this is the piston rod side of the piston, and this is the side opposite to the piston rod side of the piston. So these two sides, both the sides are utilized to compress the air. The air is sucked, the air is compressed, then the expansion and the compression, the delivery, all these processes are taking place on both the sides of the piston, right? So it is the more utilization of the cylinder, and we can see that the advantages of the double acting compressor is that you can get more uniform flow of the compressed air. So the intake and delivery valves operate corresponding to the stroke of the compressor. So whether the stroke, in which direction the piston is moving. So The stroke is taking place in which direction, whether the piston is moving from inner dead center to outer dead center, or top dead center to bottom dead center, or bottom dead center to top dead center. In what direction the piston is moving. So depending upon that, these valves are opened and closed, right? So that exactly we can study immediately. The compressed air delivery is comparatively continuous. As I have told you, the delivery of the compressed air is continuous as compared to the single acting compressor. And if you are comparing with the single acting compressor, you will find that the delivery of the compressed air is more continuous in case of the double acting compressor. Thus both sides of the piston are effectively used in compressing the air. So that is the specialty of the double acting compressor, that both sides of the piston are effectively used for the compression purpose. Ultimately we are achieving the compression, because but all the four processes are taking place. The suction is there, compression is there, then the delivery is there, expansion is there, and delivery. All these four processes are taking place on both the sides of the piston, right? So let us now try to study the construction and working of this particular double acting compressor. So first of all, it consists of the cylinder and piston, just like the single acting compressor, right? But here it is having the two sets of inlet valves, suction valves 1 and 2, and two sets of the exhaust valve, two exhaust valves and two inlet valves, right? So this is one inlet valve, this is the another inlet valve, right? And this is the overall inlet, this is the overall outlet of the compressor, right? So overall there is only one inlet for the compressor, there is only one outlet, but inside the cylinder you will find that this outlet and this inlet is divided into two inlets, and this outlet is also divided into two outlets. So these are two outlets will now get joined here, right? So the air, compressed air may come out from this outlet valve or this outlet valve, but it gets mixed and it comes out here from there. The air which is entering, it is entering from this only one inlet, but it may enter from this valve as well as from this valve, right? So this is the construction of the double acting compressor. Now how it works? Now first of all, imagine that this piston along with the piston rod is moving in the right direction. If the piston is moving in the right direction, then what is happening? First of all, what is happening is that when all the valves are closed, compression takes place. Compression takes place, right? But due to compression, the pressure increases, and when the pressure has reached to a maximum level or to the delivery pressure, at that point what is happening is that this delivery valve gets opened. Delivery valve gets opened due to the pressure, the force which is acting on the delivery valve, due to the pressure, increased pressure inside the cylinder. The spring force is overcome. So this delivery valve gets opened and the compressed air is delivered out. Like this, compressed air is delivered out, and the piston is moving from left to right, right? Now the piston has now reached the extreme position to the right side, extreme position to the right side. Now the piston will start its journey to the left side. So as the piston moves from right to left, first of all the valves will be closed, all the valves will be closed, right? And what is happening on this side is suction. Sorry, before suction, the expansion will take place. Expansion will take place on this side, but simultaneously on the other side what is happening is that compression is taking place on the other side. So suppose the piston is here at this extreme position, it is moving like this. So what is happening on this side, on the right side of the piston, is that the expansion takes place, and on the left side of the piston, first of all the compression will take place. Compression will take place, but at some point you will find that due to pressure difference the inlet valve will open here. So this inlet valve will open when the piston reaches somewhere here, the inlet valve will be open. Okay, immediately after some time what will happen is that when this pressure on this side has been increased to the delivery pressure value. So at that time this exhaust valve or the delivery valve will be opened. Delivery valve will be opened due to the force because of the increased pressure. And when the delivery valve gets opened, then this delivery of the increased pressure, the compressed air, will start from here and it will go to the storage tank. Right? From this side the delivery will take place, and from this side first of all the expansion will take place, and then afterwards this suction will start because the inlet valve will be open and suction will be started, and the piston has now reached to this left extreme position. Right? Now again the piston is moving from the left extreme position to the right extreme position. So what is happening to the left of this piston, that we haven't discussed. So to the left of the piston you will find that first of all the expansion will take place. Expansion will take place to the left of the piston. Of course we have discussed that compression will take place to the right and expansion will take place to the left. Okay, so due to that this pressure to the left side will be decreased, and that will at a point the pressure is so low that it will open the inlet valve. Inlet valve will be opened and suction will start. So air will start entering inside the cylinder to the left of the piston. Now what is happening to the right of the piston? So the air is getting compressed to the right of the piston, and when the pressure increases up to a certain point, up to a certain level, so that force created due to the increased pressure will open the delivery valve. That will open the delivery valve. So this delivery valve will be opened and the compressed air will go out from the cylinder to the storage tank. Right? So this is the working of the double acting compressor. Thank you, my dear friends.